I'm Dan Eakes, and I've lived in Grand Island my entire life. I was born in Grand Island. So I've known Steve Hornady for probably about as long as anyone in Grand Island. I used to go to Idaho in the summer sometimes, and I got to know a fellow up there, and he was an avid hunter. And one day he asked me, he said, "You're from Grand Island, Nebraska, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Isn't that where Hornady Manufacturing is located?" I said, "Yeah, sure is." He said, "Well, I shoot their bullets." And I said, "Well, I'll be happy to tell Steve that. He'll be happy to hear that." He said, "You know Steve Hornady?" I said, "I do." I said, "I grew up with Steve Hornady." He said, "Could you get me like a hat, a Hornady hat, and have Steve autograph it for me?" I said, "Yeah, I'd do that." So I did. But I've had to live with this celebrity status now for I don't know how many years. Anyway, it is what it is.
So my name is Todd Wainwright. I am an SVP and part of the executive team at Amore Equipment Finance here in Grand Island. I first met Jill in 2019. An event came up that I'd found out about called Walk with Your Wingman. At the Humane Society table was who I came to find out to be Jill Hornady, and she walks over and introduces herself to me and says, "I've heard about you," and I'm like, "That can't be good." So we chatted a little bit, and she's obviously introduced herself as the president of the Humane Society at the time on the board. If anyone's ever spoken to Jill, after that conversation, I was on the board, or on my way to being on the board, right? There's a process. I'm now the immediate past president, but have served on the board for the last 6 years as a result of meeting Jill that day.
Okay, well, my name is Fred Glade. I'm a fourth generation person from Grand Island. My son and grandson are fifth and sixth generation. But I have known the Hornady family through a son who recently passed away, Bob Hornady. And he and I graduated from high school together.
I'm Audrey Cotters, and I know Margaret through her involvement with the Museum of Nebraska Art in Kearney, fondly called Mona, when she came on the board in 2011. For me, her impact is very impressive. She's a woman. She has had important leadership roles both in the corporate world, in the political world, in her volunteer life, and certainly as someone to emulate.
My name is Allison Rowe. I grew up in Doniphan, Nebraska. The scholarship itself was a solidifier of if I was even going to be able to go to college. I could primarily focus on my schooling and not have to worry about working multiple jobs during college in order to stay afloat. Personally, I'm very honored to be able to be here and for them to have chosen me for the scholarship. The scholarship itself really did change my life. It was a turning point in my educational career, so that way I could follow my dreams and pursue what I wanted to do without having any kind of worry. I'm truly honored, and thank you for everything that you've done. You've helped the community in many different ways, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, my name is DJ Ihusen, born and raised here in Grand Island, a graduate of Grand Island Senior High and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. You know, from a philanthropic perspective, Jason's determined. I mean, when he puts something in his sights, there's no stopping him. And it's kind of interesting. He'll call me from time to time, and I know what it's about. He's like, "Hey, roll up your sleeves. We're going to get involved, and we're going to make a difference." And he did that recently with the project out at Camp Augustine. And it was like, you don't have a choice. And it's pretty cool because when he wants to make an impact, he makes an impact of the greatest magnitude. I would say 10, 20, 50 years down the road, people will remember Jason for being horrible at golf. He's just not good.
The year that they named Marvel Philanthropist of the Year for state of Nebraska was very deserving. She really was that way. And she was always very positive, and more than anything, is if she asked you to contribute something of another charity or something like that, she wouldn't talk to you until she herself had donated the money. It seems like that to what it seemed like to me. Well, I think we just have to drive around Grand Island, and you take a look at things that they've supported as a family, not just the company itself, but as the family goes itself.
Then you see their logo, the Hornady logo, on every event in town. They give back to so many causes. What I've seen them, Jill specifically, and Steve, the whole family and organization, is a culture of giving back, of giving to the community.
Well, Steve and the Hornady family have been tremendously generous to Grand Island, and they've supported many bricks and mortar projects. But also they've supported, if you look at the various events that happen around Grand Island over the years, you'll frequently see them as a sponsor. Very, very common to see Hornady Manufacturing.
She brings intelligence, she brings caring, she brings interest, she gives promotion. I mean, she just knows so much about all aspects of what it takes for an organization to not just survive, but to thrive.
Having opportunities like these for students like me will help future students reach their goals.
This community looks far different. And I promise you this, it doesn't look better without the Hornadys. We're blessed to have them and grateful for their contributions that they provide to this community each and every day.
The Hornady business will be known, in the future because they've been such an innovative company, and their family will be remembered as a family that's always been so supportive of Grand Island, Central Nebraska. That will be their legacy.